Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Udelvi Hill with the City of Las Cruces, and speaking at this morning's news conference in the following order will be City Councilor Yvonne Flores, City Councilor Cassandra Gandara, representing Las Cruces Public Schools, the Senora Maria Flores, who is a member of the school board, Mayor Ken Miyagishima, and then our honored speaker, RJ Mitte, who has already had a very busy morning. He's already visited 3 radio stations. He was at 2 middle schools, and he's got another school this afternoon, and then he's got some more engagements tomorrow. So he's been very busy, and we're very pleased to have him. So to kick things off, I'm going to ask for City Councilor Yvonne Flores to come to the podium.
Good morning. Bullying is a national crisis. 28% of U.S. students in grades 6 through 12 experience bullying and are currently experiencing bullying. In surveys, approximately 30% of young people admit to bullying others in surveys. 70.6% of young people say they have been, they have seen bullying in their schools. 9% of students in grades 6 through 12 experience cyberbullying. However, 55% of LGBTQ students experience cyberbullying. I would like to first thank RJ Mitte for being here today. It's really an honor, and I'd like to also thank our counselor, what's your name again? Cassandra Gandara, and it all started at the Andale Doghouse when we were having lunch, and we just started talking about bullying, and RJ shared with us that he had been bullied and that he works to end bullying. And one of my sons was severely bullied in high school and attempted suicide. So bullying is definitely something that has to end, and we have to have that awareness come to everyone. So again, thank you, Cassandra, or Councilor Gandara, and I would like to introduce her to all of you. Of course, she needs no introduction. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Flores. Very kind words. Again, my name is Cassandra Gandara. Welcome, everybody, this morning. I first met RJ during our Las Cruces in March 2017 at our Las Cruces International Film Festival. What a lovely and amazing man to come here. And honestly, he talks a lot about his heart being here in New Mexico. And when I found out that he did a bullying prevention program through the Shiners, I said, RJ, would you come down in October of 2018 to our prevention? We usually do through the Coalition Against Bullying, and I want to recognize Commissioner Garrett, who helps chair that particular council or coalition with me. He's here in the audience. Thank you, Commissioner Garrett, for being here. But this is a very, very important issue to me, to all of us, especially our Coalition Against Bullying group. And again, RJ said yes, not only yes, but of course I will do this. My heart is here, and I want to make sure that all our children and youth are aware of bullying, what to do to stop it. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce RJ, if I can, because I have this t-shirt that we at the Coalition Against Bullying have put together. It's an important, and so basically this is a t-shirt that we'd like to give you, RJ, and a band, if we could. I'm probably out of sync here, so sorry. But it basically says, create a world of respect, New Mexico Doñana County Coalition Against Bullying. And from my heart to you, thank you for being here, RJ.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. I think before I speak, there's someone that is significantly more important here to me. I think we had another one that was coming up. I will step down. I will be back in a second. But
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you, RJ. All right, our next speaker is with Las Cruces Public Schools, and it's going to be school board member, Senora Maria Flores.
Good morning. This is very impromptu, but I am here to welcome Mr. Mitte on behalf of the Las Cruces Public Schools. We have 25,000 students. We have 41 schools, and we are thrilled that you are coming into our schools. You know that our students are bullied and are bullies. I was a bully. I was bullied. We all have that potential in us for violence or anger against our fellow students. And you'd be surprised, someone as small as I, that I would want to bully someone whose name was Maria. I didn't like it that her name was Maria. So I was in 3rd grade when that happened. It was obviously a mistake. The other day I was at Centennial High School, and there was a student sitting against the stairwell. His whole persona was, I'm invisible, I don't want anyone to notice me. It's a tragic scene to see a child in that distress, and you just know this is a person that is not happy here and for whatever reason has been picked on. He was trying to eat his lunch, and as I was walking by, I should have stopped, but I was with a principal and we were just winging it by. And, you know, that's what we have to do. We have to stop and say hello and reach out to those students. So thank you for being here on behalf of all our students. My welcome.
Thank you, Senora Flores. Now I'd like to invite Mayor Ken Miyagishima to the podium.
Good afternoon or good morning, everybody. So you heard earlier our council members talk a little bit about some of the statistics. And I have to tell you, as a kid growing up here in Las Cruces, I know some of us that were a little bit larger than our classmates. We would do our best to protect the smaller ones, but unfortunately sometimes that happened and you can't help them all. But I have to tell Senora Flores and all those, Mr. Montoya who's here from the public schools, I have seen a huge change throughout the years, but nonetheless it still happens. And so that's why we're really grateful that RJ Mitte is here to share some words with us and really be a spokesperson for all that he does. So anyways, I have a few statistics here that I'd like to share with you. So we understand that almost 14% of Doña Ana County students and 18% of all students throughout New Mexico have been bullied. So that's almost 1 out of 5. And 13% of Doña Ana County students and 14% throughout the state have been bullied electronically. You know, of course, as a kid growing up in the 70s, there was no internet, at least not that we had access to. And, you know, nowadays with all the social media, it's very easy and it's very prevalent for others to make fun of the school children. And so that's why this is such a very important opportunity to share some of that RJ is going to share with us on what he does, and really appreciative of that. And then the last, this one here is a very sobering statistic. 14% in Doña Ana County and 18% statewide of students have seriously considered hurting themselves pretty bad. And so this is something here that, as Councilor Gondara mentioned, well, this is something we have to stop. And to have a big star like RJ, you know, and I have to tell you something. I remember when there was a scene where he was going to get some pants, and his mom, they took him to the store, and there were these older kids kind of making fun of him. This is in the movie, of course, in Breaking Bad. And his dad, Walter White Sr., you know, he saw that. He went around to the back and, you know, basically beat up some pretty big guys. And, you know, that's that's what parents do sometimes, and to protect their children. And so, I'm not recommending that they do that, but but that's something there that I think that was a message there in that scene, and that's why we're really happy to have RJ here. I haven't had a chance to get to know him very well, but I tell you, sometimes in our business, we get to meet people very fast, and in seconds or minutes, we'll know exactly what they're all about. And you know what? This is a genuine person, someone who's really has a big heart, who's a superstar, and I rank him some of my favorite actors, whether it's Denzel Washington, which I've never met, Al Pacino, I've never met, but you're there. You're in my top 3, and so that's RJ Mitte. So this may not top that T-shirt that Councilor Gahn that I gave you, but I have here a key to the city, so if you'd like to come forward, I'd like to present this to you.
Thank you so much. Wow.
With that, I'm going to turn it over to our guest of honor, and I used to be a Toastmaster, so I can never leave the podium unguarded. Okay?
Smart man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, this is definitely an honor to be able to be presented with this. New Mexico really is something that my heart is here. This is one place where I spent 14 to 2021 of my life here in New Mexico, working in Albuquerque and traveling all over the state. So being asked by the schools and being asked by the mayor and everyone here to help bring awareness to this situation and to raise our students to a higher level of being is definitely an honor for me, because so many people get this opportunity, yet so few act on it. And being able to come here and to present to this community of kids, to this community of adults that are trying to help and pioneer this world, this message of this ability to not let your fears define you, to not let people that are putting you down, let their lack or limitations be placed upon you. Bullying is prevalent. Bullying is something that we have dealt with since human consciousness. We've always had these elements of bullying, and as sadly as it is, we might not ever be able to get rid of bullying, but what we can do is help prevent it and help being there with peer-to-peer support and showing our students that you have the ability to protect yourself. You have the ability to protect others. Don't let limitation or the idea of can't weigh you, because that is a decision. When you are given a decision to influence someone's life, you can. Now you have to make that decision to do so. When you see bullying, speak up. Tell your parents, tell your teachers, but tell your friends. Be like, this guy is bullying me. This person is bullying me. Confront that. Conversate with this. Have the ability to speak those emotions and not harbor them. So many times we harbor this inner feeling of doubt and disbelief, and we decay ourselves through that. And if we can express ourselves and say, no, I will not allow you to limit me. I will not allow you to place your opinion onto me. I am who I am, and I'm going to be who I'm going to be. And having this opportunity to be here and being awarded this key to the city is truly a remarkable experience, and something that I love and that I'm allowed to be able to come here and have an impact with kids. I was talking with students today about everything from overcoming adversity to overcoming their own inner demons of body shaming, of limitations that these kids have, are being, not that they have limitations, but that other people are placing these limitations. And we need to stop that. We need to remind our students that they are worth something, that everyone has the ability to change this world for the better, and that can really make an impact. I'm very lucky I get to work with groups like Shriners Hospitals to create a program like Cut the Bull to really bring awareness to this. But that's just one program. There's so many programs in this city, so many programs around the world that are trying to help and that are trying to make an impact. And I'm here to say we see your impact. We see what you do on a daily basis. We see the impacts that y'all have. Do not forget that you do change this world. You may not see it all the time, but through your impact in your community here in Las Cruces, you can reflect that impact on the world. And I'm so honored to see it grow and to see so many people that are stepping out of this realm of comfort to really change who they are and to change how they are viewed. Because if we cannot do that, we are accepting other people's imaging of us. So protect that. Hold who you are dear. Don't let anyone waver you in your decision on being what you are. Be who you're meant to be, and don't let people define that. Love yourself, love what you can do, and do not accept can't as an option. I thank you all so much for this opportunity. I am actually on my way to another school at the moment to talk with some amazing students on being exactly what they're meant to be, and I cannot wait to hear what they have to say. So I thank you for this opportunity, this key to the city. It's an honor. Thank you so much. Thank you to the people of New Mexico and to the citizens of Las Cruces. It's an honor to be here. Thank you. Perfect. Done.
Okay, RJ is available to take questions, and if you have one, please raise your hand, and I've got a handheld microphone that all comes so that we can all hear your question.
I'll just come back right here. Long time no see.
This is Diana Albasolar with the Sun News locally. I was wondering if you could talk about, did you experience bullying yourself, and is that how you came to get into anti-bullying or bullying prevention?
So, when I was younger, I dealt with my fair share of bullies. I dealt with people that saw me as a weakness, saw my disability. So I was born with cerebral palsy. I had braces on both my legs. I was, I guess, when people appeared slower than others, people viewed that as a weakness. And I dealt with my fair share of bullies. I dealt with people. I had my hand broken. I was called names. And, you know, I confronted it every time there was someone that placed a limitation on me. I confronted those limitations. I confronted what they were. And luckily, by doing that, those bullies set aside. And working with kids and working with youth and being in the industry that I'm in, it allowed me to reach people like you, talk to schools, talk to kids that are going through very similar things that I went through. You know, kids carry the world of burden, even if they don't realize they don't have to. They see their parents, they see other students, and they're like, oh my God, I gotta do this. I gotta carry this weight. And that puts pressure on kids, and that puts pressure to bully. Thank you. To express themselves. They don't know how to express themselves. And if they could have a conversation with peers and have a conversation on, like, I don't like this about me. I don't like this about myself. So that's what I don't like about others. If we can have that openly conversation, if we could have these just out there, we would have less bullying because they would be able to express themselves. And I saw that need, and I saw kids that were not matching who they were act in ways that weren't who they are. And I saw that need to really remind them that they have an impact, that they are worth something, that they can be who they want to be, but they have to accept who they are and to grow past that, to understand that. You know, people look at disability as a disability. They look at it as a weakness, as an illness, as, oh, I'm disabled, so I have to cure myself or make myself better. And in some ways, yes, we do. But if we can look at our weaknesses and our illnesses and our lack of respect or lack of respect for ourselves, if we can look at that and go, that's not me, that's not what I want to be, we can change that. We can define that. So for me, I realized that needed to happen, of reminding people that self-worth and stepping out of a realm of comfort. So, yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah. far back.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm a mom, and I'm just curious. You're obviously a very well-rounded man now, but where do you think you found most of your support growing up? Because obviously this is something that you've dealt with from the moment you came onto this earth. Where did you get that strength? Where was that support system?
I'm getting well-rounded.
We all are, right?
For me, my parents, my family, my family was my biggest motivator. When I was around 12 years old, my little sister was born, and about 6 months later, my mom was in a car accident, and she was partially paralyzed for about 7 years. So the first 7 years of my sister's life, and her father wasn't really involved, my father wasn't really involved, and my grandparents were big motivators in who I was, one being a Marine and the other one being a businessman who suffered from a stroke and was fully paralyzed on his left side, can only say a handful of words. And I learned a lot from both of them, and I learned a lot on how people talked to my grandfather that was in the chair and how he talked back. And I learned from my other grandfather who was a Marine, to never take slack. And those were my biggest motivators. So when it came down to my family and the situation that we were placed in, I had to do something. It wasn't a place where I was like, I can wait around to be an adult, or I could be an adult then and there. And I made the decision that I was going to be that adult, that person that I needed to be. And I realized in that moment that we forget that we have to do that. And we forget that we always have the ability. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, but being that person to step out and to remind ourselves to be that adult, to take care of others, to really inspire others. And as I was working and growing, I was given this opportunity through Breaking Bad to be able to have a platform, to talk to organizations that have an impact, that change this world, and that I wanted to change this world. But we can't do it alone. We can't do it without everyone behind us, without our community behind us, without our state behind us, without our country behind us. And through that, we can have an impact on changing so much more than what we have now. By raising awareness on these issues, by talking with these issues. And I'm not just saying talking to, I'm saying talking with these kids and having these conversations as they are an adult. I know they're not, but if you're talking to a kid that's being bullied, that's feeling like the world is pressuring them and the world is pushing them to be something, if you have an adult conversation with them and say, what do you want? Like, what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to go? And pioneering that path will be a lot clearer for them, and that growth. And that's something that I kind of always wish that I had an option to have been like, I'm not doing that. But I didn't, and I had to grow past that. So when I see kids with the options that they have to really define who they are in the future, why not change that? Why not start that now? Why not start these conversations and really pioneer this next wave of generation? And I think that we all have that ability to do so in everyday life. So.
Okay, anybody else? All right, RJ, thank you very much, and he will be speaking at Picacho Middle School at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
And I just want to leave by saying, again, thank you all. You're changing this world by doing what you're doing, by being out in the community, by stepping up and realizing that this is an issue, that needs to be talked. You can save lives, and I thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.